didn't have to get hurt. Like I felt supervised, like everything was just really structured here, in terms of, not falling in the jungle gym and hurting yourself, but also I ended up having a lot of just support and community. Like my friends they were always there, and I was always with somebody growing up. Whereas I did remember in Malaysia that there would be moments where I would sort of feel lost, like, or I actually almost got lost once at like a street market. It was really crowded, and my parents would always tell me you could get kidnapped. And at some point I was afraid that somebody might kidnap me and take my organs. Like, it was what I was like told. And or maybe that's something I picked up, but it was just like that kind of scary like, oh, this, and then here I had this different idea. I was like, oh, that doesn't happen here. um and how I accepted it, I don't think I don't think I accepted it through when I was younger. I think it was something that we just tried to put um away. Like, it was something that we didn't talk about. And my parents just told me to work hard in school, and that's where I spent all my energy on. I felt like in school nobody really cared about things like that. Like, they just um cared if you can get like math problems right. Like, the teacher would give you a it's 5 plus 4 and something harder than that. And if you could get that right, then people were like, oh, you're smart. And I thought, oh, that's a positive thing. Like, people, so that became sort of my energy was spent just trying to do well in school, and that became sort of a protective thing for me. Like, people didn't really ask me much questions. They just knew that, oh, she can do things. And also, I wanted my parents' sacrifice to mean something. I thought I really pressured myself to do well, because I felt like otherwise I don't know what this is all about. And that was the only thing I could do. But I would say if I was in public with my parents, I don't think they helped me fit in. I think I would, I actually felt like hanging out with my parents when I was younger was like, especially during the teenager middle school time, it was like obvious reasons I stood out. Especially when they actually worked in a neighborhood where I would I went to school, and a lot of those kids and parents, they like live there, and my parents actually work there, and I didn't want them to see me, and it would be really embarrassing for them to, oh wait, your mom works there, like, I go to eat there. And so, like, and I would somehow feel like we were like serving them, and I was like like an all of a sudden it would be outside of school where we would be equal. Like, oh, if you get that question right, then you're cool. But outside of that, it's like, oh, you're sort of like an underclass person, or like somehow they would see me differently.
Thank you so much, Steffi. Just so you know, some people are writing comments in chat that you might want to eventually take a look at. Good work. Next up is Rachel.
Okay. 1 second. This is Rachel Preby recording Room Tone. So you talked a lot about feeling like you needed to fit in or kind of hide your identity. Was there a time when you started to become more comfortable with your background and wanting to embrace it more? Was there like a period in your life when that shift occurred?
Yes. So I think the shift for me happened when I was applying to college, and all of a sudden it was like, how can you, it was the personal essay, because before then there was never any like academic way of processing myself and my story. It was very much like, this is what you're learning in school, and that was it. And I didn't really have an outlet. And this was the first time when people, it was actually a prompt. It was like, what can you share to tell us more about yourself? And even then I was like, wow, I don't know. And I ended up writing an essay about just meeting my cousins for the first time after not seeing them for a long time, and that interaction of being in America, and also just being back in Malaysia and kind of seeing them, and how to process like whether they actually think of me as family, is I felt like I was so out of touch because I had grown up without a lot of family around. And in Malaysia, we had a huge family. So that was the first time I started processing that, and how can I write about it. I didn't really, go into our undocumented status because it was like way too scary to even go into it. And